The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister, and I refer to the Strikeforce Garrett investigation and to a report that just before 2 p.m. it has taken copies of correspondence and the metadata showing details of any alterations from the City of Sydney website relating to travel and the suggestions from the Minister for Emissions Reduction. Has the government also provided all relevant emails, documents, text messages, phone records, data, metadata and encrypted messages to the New South Wales Police, and will it respond positively to
the Prime Minister?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. As I assured the House earlier this week, the government, of course, will cooperate fully with the New South Wales Police investigation. And as I said, Mr Speaker, we will await the outcomes of that investigation. And at that time, Mr Speaker, if there are any further matters for me to consider at that time, then of course I will. The matters that I was invited to address earlier this week by the Leader of the Opposition was the application of the ministerial standards, and I addressed myself to those issues in the way I outlined to the House. And that's where the matter stands now. But, Mr Speaker, I note in the matters that the Leader of the Opposition has raised with me, he has established this principle, which says that when a minister, a senior member of my team, Mr Speaker, who is the subject of an investigation, that they should, Mr Speaker, immediately have to stand aside. And I note that that was not a standard that the Labor Party pursued when they were in government. I note that it is not a standard that they have sought to apply in opposition when members of their own front bench, Mr Speaker, have been the subject of police investigation for very serious issues in the past. That has not been the cause for those members to stand aside. And I heard today, Mr Speaker, that in direct response to questioning—
The Prime Minister will resume his seat.
This is a very tight question about the provision of information to the New South Wales Police. The Prime Minister is straying right off.
I think the Prime Minister's been entitled to give some context to what was a long but pretty specific question. So I think the Prime Minister's done that, and in his remaining time he can obviously address the matters that were raised in the question, if he feels he needs to. I think in fairness he did right at the start.
I addressed those right at the start of my answer, Mr Speaker. And what is clear now is the Leader of the Opposition today was not prepared to apply the same standard that he seeks of the government to his own front benches. He refused to apply this standard to his own front benches. That's called a hypocrite, Mr Speaker.